Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This is an urgent alert to anyone eligible to vote. Whether you vote is a matter of public record. Your friends, your family, your boss, anyone can check and see if you voted this year. Who you vote for is private. Whether you vote is not, and will be on your record forever. Vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Don't get caught skipping this important task.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Please don't.
I won't. Welcome to another episode of But Am I Wrong? Starring two people who have not once ever been wrong. Can you tell that I've been on the Sotheby's side of TikTok? I kind of want to be an auctioneer. I also kind of want to be a speed climber.
I get it.
I don't like the speed part. I love climbing things. I want to be an engineer.
Far?
What do you mean?
How far are you climbing?
Oh, I'm a great climber. I can climb. You hook me up, though. You got to hook me up to my little
I
harness.
understand that. I'm just
I'll go high.
harness. Okay.
I don't have like a fear of heights, really.
It's not the fear of heights. It's the fear of bruises.
Oh, no, Melissa. The issue is I actually don't have a fear of bruises.
They
Bruises
just
happen. You should see my knees right now. I don't know what the fuck
I
happened.
saw them a few days ago.
Yeah, but they're worse. I was like, shoot. I think it's from getting on the ladder, maybe, and then like leaning on the ladder.
You're very into this ladder.
Oh, I love my ladders.
You talked about it so much on Saturday.
Well, because everyone's like, how'd you get up here? Kyle's like, how are we going to do this? And I was like, Kyle, Kyle at first, who was here with me. And I was like, well, hang knees. He goes, just throw it. And I go, Kyle, we have a ladder. He was like, you do? Yeah, we've got at least 2 ladders. And then our neighbors have an even taller one. So anyways, welcome to a podcast where we tell you when you are wrong, when you are being wrong, if you were wrong in the past. We have 3 segments on this show. We will explain each of them before them so you don't get overwhelmed with information. But all you really need to know is this is a participatory show. So we share what we think, and then we also want to hear about your thoughts and feelings. If you agree with us, if you think that person was wrong or you think they weren't, and maybe why or why not, you can send that message to our Instagram in a reply to the story that we do for the votes. And then we read the results of last week's episode on our Tuesday episode called See You Next Tuesday. It's a good time. Cool. Oh, we're also on Patreon. You can watch the video version of this podcast. You can also watch it ad-free. And you can join the Patreon and just make some friends, have some relations in a actually, you know what the ultimate will be is like someone falls in love who are on our Patreon. That's like, imagine if that happened. Because I was going to say, we've had friendships. We've had plenty of friendships blossom. We've had taken those online friendships to in-person friendships. If we get a love story, you could never break up though, because that would be so bad.
Or it could be a lot of drama.
I know, but then we have to pick sides.
No, we say neutral parties.
I'm not very good at being neutral.
Unless we hear the details.
Yeah, well then of course we would. Well, first of all, if someone from our group got together, I would actually demand to know all the details. I think it would be our right. Anyways, shall we get into our first segment?
Let's do it.
Our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we pitch a hot take, a lukewarm take, a medium take, something that has happened in our life that we want to know if we are in the wrong about. And sometimes it's also just a rant.
So my mic was not on. So apologies for anything that I said up top that was very bad audio quality. But my rant for this week is to stop the trans attack on athletes. And this has been building for years at this point. And at the 2024 Olympics, there have been transphobic attacks against women athletes, even though there aren't any actual trans women competitors. The event has many baseless accusations and harassment targeting female athletes. The two main people that are getting attacked are two boxers, Iman Khalif and Lin Yuting. And they've been faced with a bunch of online hate and misinformation about questioning their gender and eligibility to compete. These claims have been amplified by anti-trans people like Donald Trump, J.K. Rowling, and Logan Paul, and have created a toxic environment for these athletes. And the truth of all of this has been very sensationalized in the media. Both Khalif and Lynn were born female and have always identified as women and have a long history of competing in women's boxing. They face and overcome a bunch of challenges, including losses to cisgender women to reach the Olympic stage. And the International Olympic Committee, thank God, has firmly defended them and condemned the online harassment and hate speech. But there's a lot of damage that has been done both physically and mentally to both of them, and has been just something horrific for actual trans people to witness. And Khalif and Lynn have endured a bunch of pressure and scrutiny. The controversy also speaks to a broader issue, which the increasing targeting of women athletes based on unfounded suspicions about their gender. This trend has been fueled by anti-trans rhetoric and threatens to redefine womanhood based on arbitrary physical attributes rather than actual gender identity. These attacks on Khalif and Lynn are not isolated. They reflect a broader pattern of discrimination and harassment against women who do not conform to narrow gender stereotypes. The instances of policing women's bodies and questioning their authenticity is a dangerous path that undermines the principles of equality and fairness in sports. It's very imperative for us as people to reject these harmful stereotypes and defend the rights of all women to participate in sports without facing any unwarranted scrutiny or discrimination. And we should be, as people of the world, we should be celebrating people's Olympic achievements and athletic achievements and not battleground for transphobic attacks. One of the two female boxers at the center of the Olympic gender controversy pleaded with the public, which is Khalif. She pleaded with the public to avoid bullying all athletes. And she said, "I address my message to all the people of the world to adhere to Olympic principles according to Olympic charter and to avoid bullying all athletes, because this has a great impact and is capable of destroying people, killing people's thinking and minds, and dividing people." And she told this to Algerian broadcaster SNTV in Arabic. She was also crying during this whole thing because not only is this hurtful, but it's embarrassing for her, especially because she beat that woman's ass fair and square. And for that other person to just quit because she was afraid is just bullshit. Also, having to defend who you are is not good for your mental psyche. And so we need to stand up against these harmful narratives and support women athletes. And it's important to protect the integrity of women's sport and ensure the inclusivity for all.
Here. I agree with all of it. We've always said that the women who participate in being TERFs and transphobia is a finite, there's a timeline on that, because it's not about quote unquote biological womanhood. It's about the specific patriarchy's idea of what womanhood is. And eventually you will be cut off. You will not be protected from it. You will not be safe from it. The goalpost moves. And to have like, oh, someone who has elevated testosterone levels, therefore equals a man, regardless of what that person's gender identity is, someone who is an AFAB woman who identifies as a woman, your hormones fluctuate. If you have acne, testosterone levels are higher. If you have PCOS, your testosterone levels are higher. It's like just such a simple aspect of it. And for people who are claim to be so wildly obsessed with biology, it's rudimentary, like biology, that aspect of it. And yeah, I can't imagine how scary it is to be specifically like a young trans person watching on all aspects of the media, that it's relentless in the attack too. You're not only like your right to be who you are, but your right to like live and exist, whether you are out or not. There's like, it's like the violent rhetoric is like really fucking scary.
It's scary. And then also like Khalif is from Algeria and it's literally illegal to be trans there. And she's had to show pictures of herself as a baby. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And like, you're asking as the public for essentially like what would satisfy, not like their private medical records with the teams who've gone through all of that kind of stuff. Do you want to see this person naked publicly on the news? That's what, and still the goalposts will move.
Yeah. I don't think
enough.
that would be the,
because again, it's not about quote unquote, again, biological womanhood. It's about a idea and a concept of womanhood that is infinitely changing specifically for the pleasure and benefit of the patriarchy and of men.
Yep.
So it's a lose-lose, which is why anytime fucking TERFs make me so mad, because I'm like, you know how much time you have? Like approximately 5 minutes before they get on you too. And you're going to be shocked and being like, oh my gosh, how would I know? Women support me with open arms. And it's like, you cannot sacrifice someone else and think that that's going to save you and protect you. It won't, because someone else will sacrifice you. Wholeheartedly agree with that. Well, you're not wrong, obviously. And mine is stop accepting apologies that are not for you. Asterisk, yes, my fellow white women, I'm speaking to you. So Brooke Schofield of the Canceled podcast has had these tweets released that are relentless. Though every day I log on to TikTok and there's more. They are horrific. So in a way that I don't want to like call them like uniquely so, but in the sense of like quote unquote cancellations of other people or old tweets resurfacing. This is like in a league of its own. She is justifying the brutal murder of the young boy, Trayvon Martin, who she refers to as an adult, yet also her excuse for why she tweeted that was she was just a kid who also, how old? She was 17 years old. I thought a 17-year-old was an adult. And she got online, and from the research I've done, this like soft came out like 6 months ago. And she responded to the people being like, is she going to say anything? It was just on a subreddit. She had a fake account on the subreddit, which again is not like necessarily tied to her, but like, I guess people, if they know, that it is her. She apologized in that, but like it not big. And so all of these were still existing in the world. And some of them are still like not even fucking deleted. And she got on her TikTok and started crying and spent the 90% of the video talking about how hard her childhood was, which it is. It's just super irrelevant to this. And even the downplaying of saying that she was raised by her grandparents and like most older people, they're slightly less progressive, which I'm like, what a weird way to say super fucking racist. And then was blocking people, specifically Black creators who are making videos being like, this is a shitty fucking apology. But then there are thousands of comments that she isn't deleting of white women who are accepting her apology and being like, thank you, Brooke. Like, we know you've learned so much from this and all of that. And like, stop. And I really hate the whole justification of like, well, the podcast is called Canceled. So like, of course, what did you expect? Like, again, coming from white women who are like, I knew whose content I was consuming. And therefore, like, I still like this person, not people specifically like Black people who are like, yeah, I'm not surprised that this came from this person, but people who are like, yeah. and I still love her in spite of it. So, yeah, I think it's wild. And she also did a second apology, which apparently was it was her redo, which is almost like a verbatim word for word from somebody else who said what she should have said. And so she kind of just copied that. And it just makes me so frustrated, because for people who, specifically the white people who are like, no, I know she's done better, she's doing better or whatever, you are actively hindering someone from learning and from doing that if you are accepting that apology, because you are making that seem like, yeah, that is okay. Like, do not understand how that muddies the waters in that aspect. And it's just been infuriating to see. And especially considering the latest tweet that has come out, because she said she learned about all this in college. She's educated because she worked in, and this is scary, but it happens, worked in, her major was nursing major, specifically in like public health. Mm-hmm. And so she talked about how, I understand how your socioeconomic status, your race, your income, where you are, all of this kind of stuff can affect your physical health as well as your mental health. And then people found a tweet that she did. And so she said she learned all this in college, and that's when she learned these things. And she even said some of the stuff I only learned in 2020. So 4 years ago, pandemic beginning. Okay. But then there's a tweet of her in college saying, and this is not quote verbatim, but it's the gist of it. My grades started doing pretending to be liberal in my papers in college, and my grades are getting so much better. So you would just think if you had more than 6 months from the time that this soft came out initially, you would have a excuse, quote unquote, or an apology and a reasoning behind it that wasn't completely debunked by one of your other tweets from then. And then to me, the whole thing became so disingenuous. And I really hope anyone who is any white women who are no, she's learned, she's different. She got on Instagram and liked a picture of these influencers meeting Donald Trump. And then was I just absentmindedly like things. How was I to know? It was just crazy that they were there. And as somebody who hates Trump with every fiber in my fucking being, I've not once ever accidentally, on Instagram specifically, liked a post like that. Have I accidentally reposted random shit on TikTok?
Or have I accidentally liked something, but then I immediately realized what it was and then unlike it? Of course.
But it's also not your best friend.
No.
You know what I mean? So for me, do you automatically double tap on these fucking streamers that's not an accurate sort of thing. And that's not really how the app is set up. Again, TikTok, if you're falling asleep, the way I've accidentally reposted shit or accidentally sent people things, and I go, so sorry, held my thumb down too long and it sent it to you automatically. My bad. Yeah. So this whole thing to me was just super telling. And, based on when Tana talked about Palestine, you could see on Brooke's face and her lack of commentary about it that, this to me, I don't know, a nursing major from Arizona, this sorority girl, it's just, unfortunately, I think regardless if people think that she's done better, I don't think it's impossible for people to change. But I think to say that change has already been done is fully false. So, I hope she really changes, but based on everything we've seen, I don't see much of that at all. But I hope for everyone that they change. I think, as a white person, there's so much participating unknowingly and or knowingly in white supremacy that we all have to unlearn it. But that is an active thing and a continuous thing. And I think if you think she's done that, I don't think you have done that yourself, because I think it's blatantly obvious. So stop accepting apologies that are not fucking for you.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know who this broad was. I've heard her mentioned because you were talking about Tana in
the Clinton Kane thing
in previous weeks, but
yeah.
And so
the Cody stuff. Yeah.
And so I was like, this name sounds familiar. That's all it was. And then I went and looked and I was like, who the hell is this bitch? But the crying and posting, the saying I donated money, but I'm continuing to learn and figure things out.
And vet things to see where I can donate. What?
And she's like, But I already said I committed to saying that I endorse Kamala Harris. And it's just like, is that your I have a black friend card? Like, that's what it feels like. So I think that she can change, but I don't think that she has. I'm sure she's vastly different than who she was when she was in high school, but there's still so much more room to grow and to go.
Without a doubt. I think she doesn't tweet that anymore, but she's tweeted some stuff about Ice Spice that she might think is funny, but it's racially motivated. Like it's just like if you do not actively unlearn your racism, you just hide it better. Mm-hmm. And like it lives in parts of you that you don't even realize that's where it's coming from. And it's just like, just because you're not on Twitter saying the N-word, like that's not all the work that needed to be done here whatsoever. So yeah, I agree. I think anyone can change. I just don't think she has. So yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Who you vote for is private. But everyone will know if you voted or not. It's a matter of public record. And when this election is decided by a handful of votes in your neighborhood, you don't want your friends and family to know you let them down. Voting is easy. Make a plan to vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Make sure people know you did your civic duty.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
We are back. It's time for But Are You Wrong? This is where we read your submissions that you send to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep them under 300 words. Please let us know your age. It is all anonymous. Give us as many details as possible. Let us know what you are pondering over that you want to know if you are in the wrong about, and we will let you know.
All right. First up with this one. Hey, Eminem, am I wrong for not letting my sister's family stay with me while they vacation? She moved to New York about a year ago for work. I'm from a small town in the South where most of my family still resides, including my sister. It is just me here, no roommates, and rent is high as hell, especially considering where I'm from. What I pay for a 1-bedroom apartment is a 4-bedroom house where I'm from. So my sister told me she'd be coming to New York to visit with her husband and my niece. I'm so excited to see them. This trip has been in the making since January. She just called and asked if they could stay with me to cut out the price for vacation. I politely told her, as much as I'd love to have him here, it's just too small. I have a large dog that is not used to kids. I don't want to risk my niece getting hurt, but at the end of the day, this is my dog's home. She was pissed, said I wasn't understanding of her situation. She'd already bought the tickets to come out and she has to come, but isn't sure she wants to see me. I'm devastated, but standing on what I said.
Quick little thing. It's nieces, not just one.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Nieces. Which is, it's just getting crazier.
Yeah. I like that you stood on business. You said what you said and you're standing by it. Like, I don't think you're wrong because there's not enough space for everybody. And there's children involved with a large dog. What should have happened before she even booked the ticket was to figure out where she's staying. That should have been a question first up. Hey, I'm coming to town. Can I stay with you? Yes or no?
She should have looked up on Street Easy, gotten a little 360 view of your 1-bedroom apartment and been like, no.
Like, and even
like, has she ever been to New York City? Has she ever seen Annie? Has she ever seen Sex in the City? Like, what is the because to me, this is like a crazy thing to even assume that there would be room for you to stay in New York City with somebody else.
At least 4 people?
Yeah.
No. And she's saying she's doing this to save money, but like you didn't properly budget for your trip.
Then you can't have a vacation. Might I suggest the local attractions, but like New York, the way that like even the hotel rooms are even small. Like that's not where I would. I mean, if you're in the city, you move to New York. Okay, so I'm assuming you're in the city. Like, let's just.
We're talking about prices and stuff. I presume that you're in the city.
Yeah. So like hotel rooms are even so fucking tiny that there are times when like Mats has gone for work and the hotel room was so small that I said, I'm sleeping in Kyle's bed. And I took a fucking Uber to Kyle's apartment and I slept in his bed. But if Mats wanted to come stay there, no, I'm sleeping in his bed with him. Like, where does she think everyone will go?
And why would you want your children around a dog that they don't know too?
What are you doing in New York for vacation with children? No offense, but like, to me, I'm like, if you don't have the budget to stay, what are we doing here? Yeah, you're so not wrong at all.
And the thing is, they're still coming. So that means that they did find some place to stay. They just don't want to see you. She just doesn't want to see you now. They're still coming.
That's a great point.
They have the money to stay somewhere else. It's ridiculous.
Also, if they stayed in if they stayed in your apartment, they'd be like, "Oh my god, this place is so small and like so great. How do you live?" Like they'd be shit talking it the whole fucking time.
They'd probably just come and be like, "I think we're gonna go get a hotel."
Yeah, they're like move to the big city, and of course, like, look, we're small town people, but you're in the big city, and they get there and they go, "This is the big city. This is your place." Yuck. Wild. So, yeah, you're so not wrong. Let us know what happens. Also, what month are they coming? I need to know about the season.
I would guess now.
Summer, it's too hot. Fall, fine. Winter,
school.
No. That's insane. You're not wrong at all. Okay. Hi, Eminem. I have a but am I wrong that may be a little silly. I know it's only August and I know it's 2 months till October, but damn it, I want to decorate for Halloween. Social media keeps teasing me because they know it too. My algorithm is full of Halloween decorations and DIY ideas. Would I be wrong to set a skeleton or two, a pumpkin here or there? Love the pod. First of all, you did send this on August 4th, my birthday. So it is actually offensive to me that you are thinking about fall and Halloween on my birthday. You should be thinking about my birthday, which is a national holiday, considering I share a birthday with Obama, Jackie Ina, Greta Gerwig, and Meghan Markle. And the Sprouse twins, but like, I'm not so happy about that one. So I would reframe your mind. And I think my thought process is fall. You can pick fall when did you go back to school when you used to attend school? And pick the earliest date. If you're like chomping at the bit to decorate for fall, was there one year that you went back to school on like August 17th? You're allowed to start prepping. Now, I wouldn't put it outside because shit's going to get dirty and like yucky and gross. And like, do you want to be outside cleaning your outdoor decorations like multiple times before Halloween? I wouldn't, but I think that is an acceptable time when the youngins are back in school. So that's a fine time to do it. I won't lie. Prior to this, while I was on my little lunch break, was I on Pinterest? Was I looking up some Halloween decorations? I was.
Oh, Lord.
I was. But I'm not putting them up until much later. And I think if we keep trying to like get those things closer and closer and closer, we don't enjoy what we have. And summer is the thing that usually we long for so much because like it's the only one that like the holiday isn't setting the vibe. It's just the months. Like you've got like, let's say 3 or so months where it's like, it's a summer vibe, no matter what the weather is like, no matter where you are, like it's just a mindset. And that's the one, that's the one that I unfortunately think gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. And we try and opt out of it so quick. So give summer its flowers and maybe you need to start decorating for summer. So you get excited for that too. But I think you'd be wrong if you started before, I would say, I think September 1st is a great time to start. But if you want to start on August 31st, go for it.
I also think October 1st is the perfect time to start. The reason why you're inundated with this stuff is because you're looking at it. I haven't seen one Halloween.
Oh, it's algorithms.
I haven't seen one Halloween thing in any feed because it's too fucking early. I think you're wrong. And I stand by that.
It's too hot.
I think that each season, even Thanksgiving, gets lost in the shuffle. And I think each season, each holiday needs its own time. We've got, is it Memorial Day coming up? It's Labor Day or Memorial Day?
It's one of them.
Memorial Day.
I have no idea which one happens when. I just know they both happen.
We've got and
I know wearing white is about it.
We've got other holidays coming up that, do I particularly know what they are? No. But do they exist? Yes. And I think we need to focus on either the holiday coming up or the season, but don't even jump to another season that's not another holiday that's not even the season that we're in right now. I have heard, maybe this will help with some of your excitement, but I've heard of people having holiday trees. This is something I've been recently exposed to. This might be for you too, because you like to keep your tree up for half the year.
Oh, decorating it for Valentine's Day and shit? Everyone always says that.
Put up a tree in your house that you keep up. You may be a different religion that doesn't even have, or different something that doesn't even celebrate Christmas, but have just a holiday tree, decorate that, put some beach balls, some sunglasses,
spray some sunscreen on it, get that banana boat. That's really good.
Celebrate for now. And then you can get to Halloween in October where it belongs.
Yeah. I prescribe you a trip to a body of water. It can be a cold bath. It can be an ocean. It can be a lake. It can be a pool. But get back in that summer feeling. Like, remember, it's not over yet. Because also, if you keep skipping over, August 18th is National Senior Citizens Day. Do you want to say fuck old people? No. August 26th is Susan B. Anthony Day.
Fuck her.
August.
Though. She was racist.
What? She was. But then they tried to make, this is the part I was going to say. They tried to make up for that because also on August 26th is Women's Equality Day.
Okay.
They said, okay, so Susan B. that was a right vibe, wrong person. So let's do this over.
Also today, as we speak, August 8th is National Female Orgasm Day. So
yeah, like, why run away from the things that keep our calendar ticking, keep the months going? Because eventually you're just going to get to a point where it's going to be never enough and the timeline is wrong. And if that doesn't convince you, just know that the Halloween decorations are not designed for hot weather in mind. So they will disintegrate, they will deteriorate, things will mold, like pumpkins will mold. It will not be. Don't tell her that it won't fucking mold. Don't say that. But I'm saying that like in the hot weather, especially if you've like plastic decorations, all that, they're not built for that shit. So, don't ruin the investment you've made into those things. And also, the way you'll have to spend a fuck ton of time trying to go find a goddamn pumpkin. Maybe buy some school supplies for people. Go to Target. That's where I've seen so many school supplies. Don't even have a Halloween decoration up yet.
Nah. All right.
No, get school supplies. Buy a binder. Live a little. Get a 5-star.
Enjoy now. Let's think present. Stay in the moment.
Yeah. And again, you said that on my birthday. I expect an apology. Thinking about Halloween on my birthday is summer. It is quite literally summer.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to see you next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Merry Christmas, everybody! My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back from our break. It's time for But Are They Wrong? And this is where we nominate a person, place, or thing in current events, in the zeitgeist, someone who is doing things wrong, doing things badly, doing bad things, or doing wrong things. And we think that they deserve to be called out for it. So that's why we have this podcast. Talking shit.
My nomination for this week is Nassau County in New York. And I also don't think this is the first time that I've talked about Nassau County.
I was going to say, Melissa, Nassau County is not the new Oklahoma, but like they might have been Oklahoma before Oklahoma.
Yeah, they passed a law banning masks in public, and the law is intended to prevent quote unquote criminal activity and violence. Many of the critics of this argue that infringes on civil liberties and chills political expression. Similar laws are being considered or enacted in other states. And the law raises concern about public safety, civil liberties, and individual rights. So there's been like this whole firestorm of controversy with the passage of this Mask Transparency Act. The legislation prohibits individuals from wearing masks or facial coverings in public places unless for medical, religious, or cultural reasons. And anybody that violates this would be fined $1,000 and potentially jail time. The law was spurred from concerns of anti-Semitic incidents linked to mass protesters during the pro-Palestinian demonstrations. And proponents argue it will deter criminal activity and violence. However, critics me being a critic, I'm sure Meghan is also a critic, vehemently opposed the measure, claiming it infringes on civil liberties and could lead to dangerous consequences. Consequences like people being targeted because they have on a mask. And then what are you supposed to do? Show them your medical note? Sounds a lot like show me your papers. So the New York Civil Liberties Union is very vocal about how they do not like that. And they're asserting that the law is just making it so that people can't express themselves politically and open the door for selective enforcement, not only from like police officers, but also just people that consider themselves, quote unquote, a good Samaritan. They also warn of potential doxing, surveillance, and retaliation against protesters. Similar anti-mask legislation has emerged in other states like North Carolina and has been threatened in major cities like New York City, which I'm not surprised with Eric Adams running shit. While supporters focus on public safety, critics emphasize the importance of anonymous protests as a cornerstone of democratic societies. They also raise concerns about the law's impact on individuals with health conditions requiring masks, as well as the potential of discriminatory enforcement. The passage of the Mask Transparency Act marks a significant escalation in the debate over public masking, and it intersects with civil liberties and public safety. Its implications will be closely watched as legal challenges and public discourse unfold. Also, we all know why this really started was because people were mad that people were protesting the things that are happening in Palestine, and protesters were getting their masks ripped off their faces because the law enforcement really believed that like if their faces are shown, then who were the majority of this were college students. If their faces were shown, then they wouldn't get jobs. And that's what it is.
And then they would stop
and they would stop protesting. So, fuck y'all. Fuck you.
Yep. I agree with it wholeheartedly. And there's like a huge crossover, as I feel like we all know at this point, in protest, specifically with marginalized groups, including like Black trans women, Black women, and disabled people who half of those people are unfairly targeted by police for police brutality. So having a mask for protection to protect themselves from that, but also healthcare are absolutely not taken care of in our healthcare system in America, as well as disabled people. So you have a larger amount of people who need that mask for health reasons and like body safety reasons. So yeah, the whole thing is just absolutely fucked. And I hope what comes of this, aside from these things getting completely abolished, is seeing that people are not being reprimanded and not being able to get jobs because they said, I don't think Palestinians should die. But yeah, fuck them. So my wrong of the week is a fucking doozy. And I want to give a trigger warning that this is going to briefly mention sudden infant loss from SIDS. So if that is something that is triggering to you, or you think it even might be, thank you for listening to this episode. This is wonderful. Love you. Listen to the next one. Vote for this one, but you can skip past that. So this is a thing involving two TikTokers from Australia named Tasha Paige and Veruca Salt. And I saw this organically, which is fucking crazy. So this video comes up on my For You page of this girl named Tasha Paige, and is sitting there saying how fucked it is that a former friend didn't send a thank you card for a gift she sent to a function, and says, I never got any thank yous. And they find out some bad news. I send them flowers, teddies, all this shit. And then I'm made out to be the bad person. Stop stirring the pot because I'll make it boil. And it's like, I was like, what the fuck is this about? So of course I scroll past, and then a couple videos later, I see a video from the person who seemingly this is about. So to take it back, they were friends. Veruca and Tasha were friends for about 6 months, and they both got pregnant around the same-ish time. Tasha decides to terminate that pregnancy and has an abortion, and Veruca, it carries on to have that pregnancy, and she invites Tasha to the baby shower. So Tasha accepts. They've only been friends for a couple months, so she accepts, but she gets all these gifts or whatever, but she doesn't have a card. So she doesn't get a thank you because she doesn't know who these gifts are from. So I think it's only a couple weeks after. I think her son might have been 6 weeks old. Someone else said 3 months, but I think he was pretty old. Veruca's son dies from SIDS, and Tasha's out of town at the time, and she sends flowers. Then she is also invited to the funeral, and Tasha asks Veruca what her favorite alcohol is. She says tequila. She brings tequila, and Tasha proceeds to get absolutely plastered at her funeral. She gets up there after everybody is trying to be like, no, what are you doing? And she decides that she's going to make a speech while they are standing outside with balloons outside with the hearse and the casket. And she's sobbing over her infant son who literally just fucking died. She says that she's never met the baby. And by the way, she also gets up multiple times to speak and people are trying to get her off and she just keeps going. She starts leaning on the coffin in the hearse. She's wearing like a little mini skirt and flip-flops and she's like leaning her body weight on this. And then she says, he would have gotten so much pussy if he was still alive. May he live with everlasting pussy and peace.
What?
About a baby, about an infant and a friend that she's only known for a couple fucking months. She already got there like, oh my God, fuck, dude. Like, this is like so bad. Like, it's already weirdly like just fucking awkward because she keeps talking about how she doesn't know the baby and like, what, it's just so fucking weird. And then she ends with that and she's laughing. And everybody there is like, what the fuck? So it was horrible. So from what I can tell from that point, because like it gets muddied with like deleted videos and shit at this point. From what I can tell, this was like in March, it seems. She posted like a vlog style of like the funeral and like the balloons and like whatever. And like supposed to be like aesthetic-y kind of a thing, but like very, very weird, especially after how you carried yourself at this funeral. Like it's just very fucking weird. And she like the defense of that is like, no, like Veruca said, she was okay if people posted stuff on social media, but like, please don't post him. Don't post the casket. And then please don't post her. Like she doesn't want that, but like his memory, she wants people to talk about him and like all of those things. It's not like a aesthetic vlog necessarily. And so she gets comments on this that people being like, hey, this feels like hella disrespectful. Like, this feels weird. Like I would delete this video. And then she like pretends that she's apologizing, but really what she's doing is like showing screenshots of like her having apologized to Veruca for how she carried herself at the funeral and then putting it on her being like, people are saying that they think maybe my vlog is disrespectful. I don't know. Like, have you watched it? Like, I can delete it if you want me to. And like, just here, grieving mother, let me give you a task to do and then you let me know versus being like, hey, let me just delete this fucking thing. So she says she offers to take the video down, but she also doesn't see anything wrong with what she did. And then she says that she can forgive herself. And she already has forgiven herself at this point. And at this point, she says she doesn't even care. So for some reason, she decided to start all of this because Veruca has not said a goddamn fucking peep about what she did at the funeral. None of that shit until she decided to get on her TikTok and bitch about the fact that she didn't get a fucking thank you card. Because she says, I sent this, like, she was having a function, so I sent a thank you card. And then she got some bad news and I sent those gifts and I never even got I didn't even get a thank you from that. She started all of this from that. And basically, like, Veruca was like, nah, she was a menace at my fucking funeral. She said she denied it all of it. And then Veruca posted the video to prove what she did. And then she said, I've already forgiven myself. It's fine. She's like, I shouldn't have gone because I was still grieving my abortion and that was bad. And I but it is what it is. And it was like, what the fuck?
You can't forgive yourself if you're not actually sorry for what you did. She doesn't even believe that she did anything wrong. What she doesn't like is the scrutiny.
And also, what comes first? Someone else forgiving you, and then you still live with the guilt until you're able to forgive yourself. You don't forgive yourself before anyone else has ever forgiven you, let alone before you've actually felt sorry for what you did. And do you know what the icing on the cake to all of this is for me? Scrolling through her TikTok, trying to get like a better sense of her today. She is, I'm assuming OnlyFans, but very clearly does adult work like that all of this feels to me like a really elaborate way to get people to watch that. based on her language, based on like how she starts her other videos. Like the fact that we're talking about this and then her next video is like, I love being cream pied.
Also, when Veruca said, you know, I don't mind if you post pictures, she just meant like pictures to, you know, just like remember her child's memory, not do a whole vlog based on the quote unquote aesthetics of a funeral.
Yeah. And also like that has nothing, like as sad as it is, like the joy of remembering someone who has passed. I don't remember their funeral. That's not what I think of when I want to honor their, like that is like a grieving process for people who have lost someone. But like she wants you to still, everyone to celebrate her son. That's not zooming in on balloons or like whatever that is. Like that is nothing, that's not her son. Like what?
Yeah. That person is not okay.
No, they're deeply, deeply unwell. And she literally is like basically being like, you guys don't even want, you don't even like, I'm the bad guy in this situation. Like, you don't even know, like basically implying like the stuff that I'm sitting on. I go, I promise you, girl, there's absolutely nothing that you could be sitting on that would make me go, oh, this was totally warranted. You're right. I'm so sorry. She's the villain in this situation. You want to pull up things from what? Irrelevant. We're talking about this goddamn fucking situation. And if we get one damn message of anyone saying, I totally feel for her, but you should know, Veruca, no. I don't care. I genuinely do not care. Because this, having SIDS, that does not discriminate, it is not a consequence of any, it is a fucking random thing. So to attribute or to like try and paint a character idea, there is none of that. Like a baby fucking died. Like that's just point blank period what it is. And it makes me so mad because the same thing people say with like Tan and Cody. They're like, well, I know Tan. I go, it's irrelevant. They're completely fucking irrelevant things. So yeah. And I just feel like that's where this girl's going to go. Is just like trying to like expose her for other aspects of their friendship. And nothing will ever make it okay for what you did at her infant's fucking funeral. Horrible. Disgusting. For all of our Oklahomans, Oklahoma caught no strays this episode. This was an Australia and New York focused episode.
All right. Well, that is the end of our episode. Thank you for listening. Please tune in tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday, where we'll be reading the results from last week's episode. Nothing on Wednesday for you, but Thursday we've got Don't Blame Me, our call and advice show. And Friday we do catch-ups to see how life's going for each one of us on Fisting Friday.
And the Olympics is coming to an end, so don't forget to watch all of the recaps. I recommend everybody. One of the most exciting ones that I have seen has been the individual floor. That was amazing. It was beautiful. And I recommend everyone to watch it. It was great. In this house, I stand the American gymnasts and now the Brazilians. I'm loving them. And here's the thing. I'm always rooting for my Irish girls, but that's not really much of our... We were in there for a hot second. And Mutt says, do you think you guys are going to go? I went, no, that's not how we're built. And
I didn't even
God bless those
see
girls.
them.
That's not... Our body doesn't move that way.
And I watched the uncut ones where they don't even have commentary because I didn't realize that that's what that was. And I was like, why is nobody
am I watching
talking?
4 hours of silence?
Yes, I was so annoyed.
I did that too.
But I don't even remember seeing that. Maybe because there was no voices. I didn't know that's who I was watching.
Well, no,
but
listen, you would have blinked and you would have been like, and I, of course, I keep an eye out for the flag. But and Mats was like, oh my gosh, do you think you guys will do well? And I was like, that's so sweet. You're so new here. No. And he goes, but Italy's doing well. And I go, we're built different.
Yeah.
We're built different. And also sometimes we have beef. But yeah. So I recommend it to everyone. Rebecca Andrade is a
phenomenal athlete.
She's a phenomenal athlete. She's a joy to watch. And I love hearing them all talk about each other. And they're all like friends. And this is just like Michaela Skinner, like eat fucking shit watching these girls like gossip and giggle on the floor together, and like how happy and blissful and fantastic gymnastics can be when you fire and or all of the abusers. Right. How great. Right. And how much better gymnastics is. You know what I mean? Like how much higher they can perform and how much longer and all this stuff. And like, it's just, even if you're not a gymnastics fan, like Mott has become obsessed. Like he loved it. So I recommend specifically that floor finals anyone to watch. It's great. And if you want to skip one, skip the beam. That shit was hard to watch.
Scary. Very scary. But have a great rest of your day. And we will, look at me, circle back.
Circle back. Sorry. Bye.
Bye.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.